Put me in the fucking middle, bro. Watch out. Yo. My bad.
All right, we're now ready to begin the Connecticut Student Athlete Press Conference. I'd like to remind you, no flash photography, no videotaping, and please mute your telephones. If you have a question, please raise your hand and wait until we get a microphone to you. With that said, are there any questions for the student athletes? Cooper, can we go right here?
Alex, you've been in the tournament now the last 3 years, each very different. Last year you were kind of everyone's favorite. Maybe a couple of years ago you were a 4th seed, but kind of a trendy pick. This year you're an 8th seed, maybe more considered an underdog. Do those things change your mindsets at all, or is it really the same approach going into the tournament, regardless of what your position or what people are thinking or saying?
Yeah, it's always been the same approach. This year, last year, the year before, we do the same preparation every single day. We treat every game like it's like our last one. So we want to go out there and just really play our best basketball. And our practices never changed the last 3 years, and everything that we do is such on a consistent basis. So no matter if we're the underdog or everyone expects us to win, we're going to treat every day like the same.
Any other questions for the student athletes? Jaden, can we go back there?
Any number of the three of you. This has been a season with a lot of players in and out of the lineup due to injury. It's been tough to find consistency and rhythm. How do you think you are as you're now set to begin the NCAA tournament?
Hassan, could you answer that first, please?
Yeah, I think we got a good rhythm. Everybody's healthy for the most part. Everybody's been in practice, getting after it. So we got a lot of momentum going into the first game.
Samson, is there anything you could add to that?
No, not really. I mean, you just gotta, go with it. I feel like a lot of guys have been battling, since the start of the season. But I feel like we stayed together, and like I say, we have a lot of momentum going to this tournament.
Any other questions? Go back up front.
Haas, obviously next year is going to be a very new team here, a lot of new players. What do you feel like you've left and this group has left that's going to be picked up and kind of carried on by them? What do you hope, at least, is the legacy that's going to remain when you guys leave?
Just speaking for the three guys up here, I would just say, the last 3 years we've been through a lot, but we stayed resilient, and I think that's the main thing. When adversity hits, how do you respond? Your resilience is gonna get you through it and ultimately make you successful.
Any other questions? Okay, go in the back, Coop.
Yeah, this is for really anyone. When you win the last 2 years to get to this point in the season, does it feel more like pressure, or does it kind of take some of the pressure off just to get to this spot?
I'm sorry, who is that for?
For anyone who wants it.
Oh, okay. Alex, could you answer that?
I don't think there's any pressure whatsoever. Having done what we've done the last 2 years, heading into this year, there's no pressure. I mean, this is a completely different team. We've been on a completely different journey, and we just want to wear the jersey with honor and pride. And if we do that, anything could happen when you play at UConn.
Can we go in the back there, Jaden?
Yeah, Alex, to that point, you mentioned obviously the last 2 years are different than this year. Is there any difference between thinking about the pursuit of a championship this year as being for this year's team versus thinking about it as being for the three-peat? Are those one and the same? Are there any difference there to you?
I don't think there's any difference. I think this year we have so many new guys this year that want to experience a championship. So at least for us, we want to help them experience that championship and let them get that feeling. And then once that happens, then the three-peat stuff will start to sink in for us and how we can possibly make history. So we're gonna do everything in our power to do that and just focus one game at a time until we get to that point.
Go back and back.
Just to go off that, is the three-peat something you guys talk about and embrace, or is it just kind of focusing on today and tomorrow?
Samson, could you answer that?
Going to the season, that was one of our goals. But, we take it one game at a time. We don't want to put any pressure on ourselves. You know, if you don't win the next game, you don't advance. So that's kind of our mentality. Focus on the next game and go from there.
Any other questions? Back up front.
Alex, what have you all learned this week about Oklahoma? What do you feel like are going to be the keys to this game?
Yeah, super talented team. I mean, super well coached. They've played in the gauntlet of the SEC, so they're battle tested. So we got to be ready from the jump. And they got terrific players, Fears, Moore, their surrounding cast. I mean, they're a really good team, super well coached. They get after it defensively. So we have to really bring our A game if we want to beat them.
Any other questions?
This can go for any three of you, but Porter Moser, the Oklahoma coach, said that you guys are like you guys are absolutely like an SEC team with the rebounding against a team in the SEC with how physical they've been this season. How are you guys? What's the game plan to just make sure you guys are winning the rebounding battle like you have all season long?
Hassan, could you take that?
Yeah, we have to attack the glass with reckless abandon. We have to get inside position, and we have to want it at the end of the day. Playing the Big East, and the Big East is pretty tough, pretty brutal, and we were able to win a lot of those rebounding margins. We need to continue to do that, and that's going to be important to win.
Any other questions?
Don't want the transcribers to get away that easily here. Haas, I know coaches often mention, and the record has kind of borne it out, that the style of play in the Big East is one thing, and when you guys get out of conference, a little more freedom of movement, you could do more of the things that you like to do. How much do you buy into that? Do you feel a different feel when you're playing out of conference, that having been through those wars, that you're in a good position for these games?
Yeah, I would say, I agree with Coach. In the Big East is very physical. Teams like to blow up a lot of our actions and make us play a slow down game. When you get outside of the Big East, it's more up and down, more freedom, a lot of transition, and I think that's beneficial for us.
Any other questions? All right, gentlemen, you're excused. Thank you very much, and good luck tomorrow. Coach Hurley should be here soon. going? Does that work?
Yes, sir.
All right, we are now ready for Coach Hurley's portion of the press conference. Coach, could you give us an opening statement, please?
Yeah, obviously excited to be here in Raleigh. Thrilled for the opportunity. Obviously impressed. Just watching Oklahoma, going back, watching the non-conference performance, and then obviously seeing the strength of the SEC conference, and just the level that they played at the whole year, the depth of the team, obviously Fears is a going to be a really high draft pick and is an incredibly talented player, and then obviously a ton of firepower around him. So we know it's going to obviously be a really challenging game, but excited to be in the tournament, excited for this time of year, to be participating in the best sporting event that we do on a yearly basis in our country. Super Bowl. Maybe March Madness. I don't know. It's close.
Let's start on the corner over there.
Dan, Dave Borges, Hearst Connecticut Media. Two-time defending champion, does it almost feel like you guys are kind of coming into this a little under the radar? And if so, is that maybe a good thing for you guys?
Yeah, I think with the way that the season's played out, we've been in the news a bunch. We get talked about a lot. So, yeah, I mean, we've earned an 8 seed. We're in the 8-9 game versus in an absolute dogfight with Oklahoma to try to get out of the first round here and and play for a Sweet 16 berth. So yeah, I mean it's we're ready to play.
Any other questions? Go back in the front row.
Don Memori, Hartford Current. Dan, it's that time of year again, and you see so many schools now parting ways with their coaches. I was wondering first if you kind of see a trend where maybe schools are just not as patient as they should be with some of the, because some of them are obviously surprising. And then, of course, the other half of that is obviously, is this maybe the year that a couple of your assistants get that call?
Yeah. Well, it's been surprising, just I guess, that I've been able to hold on to Luke and Kamani as long as I have. They're, obviously, excellent at what they do. So, I'm always expecting a phone call or text message from one of them saying, "Hey, I've just been offered, so-and-so job, and I think it's the one I want. Appreciate you." They're that amazing at what they do. Yeah, and then I just think the sport has changed a lot. This is NIL. You don't always necessarily have to build. When you're taking over a job now, you're not building a culture and building a program. Because of the transactional nature of NIL and portal. You could bankroll or buy a championship caliber team, as opposed to have to build it maybe 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 8 years ago, 10 years ago. So I think with all this, college coaches are going to get treated like NBA coaches. NBA coaches, get hired and fired pretty quickly. I think you'll see, the length of college coaches' contracts get shorter and shorter as they get hired for new jobs. I don't think you'll see so much hoopla over coaches doing well in year 1 or year 2, because I think the expectation now is that you should be able to put together a team that could compete in year 1 or year 2, or else, year 3 is a must-win year, whereas it probably was like, years 4 and 5.
Jaden in the middle in the green.
Dan Wolken, USA Today. Dan, the last couple of years, it was very easy to sense, being around your team a little bit, what you were building to and how good you were. What do you sense this year coming in from this group?
Yeah, I think it's, it's crazy as it sounds. It probably just, we've had the, more battle tested, just been through way more. I mean, this team has been, from getting knocked on our ass at Maui and that meltdown out there, coming back at 4-3, and looking at Baylor at home without Caravan playing, and knowing you're going to Texas right after that, and then Gonzaga, who at the time was top 10 type of team. You're looking at our season at that point of the year like, are we going to be 500? I mean, it was at that point of the year, it was it was scary. Then you've had some other just jarring moments, jarring losses. The meltdown at the end of the Seton Hall game. Alex's free throws at Nova. We just had so many of the, so many moments that we're not accustomed to, where the team's been the last couple of years, that were very jarring. But that we also battled back from, and were able to play really well at the end of the year. I thought to end the regular season. Obviously, Creighton's a really good team, and we dug too big of a hole in the first half of that Big East tournament game. But I think we are excited to be in the tournament. I feel like maybe in a weird way there's a little pressure off of us going into the tournament, where we could just go out and let it rip right now. We don't have this huge pressure of expectations. A lot of people don't think we're going to win the first game.
Coop, second row.
Thanks. Well, Dan, Mike Anthony from Hearst in Connecticut. I actually had a very similar question, so you've touched on some of this, but Solo, I guess to bring up a specific player, said it feels like night and day. Last year, massive target. You guys were kind of the fascination of the sport, the #1 overall seed. This year, you jump right into an 8-9 game that most people would view as a coin flip. Here you go. Last year, it seemed like there would have been a lot would have had to go wrong for you guys to lose a game, and you could gain momentum even if you weren't playing perfect basketball. Well, just what's the difference in the feel of the last hour preparation leading into this versus last year?
Yeah, I think the group is relieved to be at this point of the year, and I think as a staff and as players, there's a certain level of just excitement, relief, of just being in this tournament. Obviously when you're an 8 seed and you're coming in with 10 losses, when you're coming in with 10 losses and you're an 8 seed, our confidence isn't going to be as high as last year's team that just rolled through people and believed that every game was going to play out that way. With this group, I think being battle tested, having gone through such a tumultuous season, has forced this team to fight hard all year just to be in position to play in the tournament. And obviously we need our best players to come out and play well. The thing with us is if we could find a way to play our best. Obviously, a lot of it's centered on the defensive end of the court. We've been a bad defensive team at different parts of this year. That has really hurt us. But if we could play good defense and start play this first game, play well, find a way to advance, UConn becomes very, very dangerous when we get out of the first round.
Coop on the edge in the back.
Coach Dugan Lloyd, WITN. You've already talked about this season, the challenges of coaching while also having your players get texts about transfer and portal. On a weekend like this, is that something you have to worry about, or can you kind of block that out?
Yeah, I mean, that's the, that's been going on the last couple of years. That's not like, a new, new issue that you're dealing with. We dealt with that on the 23 team. With players during the year being recruited with big money offers off of that 23 team. So yeah, I mean, I don't. That's not something, that's not something new that you deal with. I think, what we do, I think, best with our players is just we're very open and honest and communicating about where they need to keep their focus, and it doesn't help you to check out on your team or on yourself, this time of year, especially for a team that's got a chance to play in the NCAA tournament and potentially, do some great things. The thing about this time of year is you could have the best regular season. If you do bad this time of year, you're a bum. You're a bum as a player, you're a bum as a coach. we have not had a very good regular season, obviously for our standards and what we're trying to accomplish. But we could change that whole narrative and change the way that we, view this season by playing our best this month right here and trying to get on a run. We could salvage the whole year, and we have the capability.
All right, let's go here, Jaden.
Dan, you're playing a team tomorrow that went 6-12 in their conference, and obviously the narrative around college basketball all year has been just how deep and rugged the SEC was. What do you see on film? Just watching that team play, the gauntlet of games that they had.
Just seeing hard-ass games. I mean, just seeing hard games. I mean, that league this year, and it's just a total monster. I mean, it was like. The whole league was NCAA caliber, like literally, 18 NCAA tournament games. So, you go back, you watch their non-conference, how well they played in the Bahamas, how well they played to beat Michigan. Obviously the Arizona game in the Bahamas, you see what they're capable of when Fears, when Fears is dynamic and able to get wherever he wants to go on the court. He triggers a lot of things offensively for them with Moore and Miles. They've just got a lot of depth and a lot of weapons, especially at the guard spots with Elvis. And they got a lot of firepower. They're a really, really good offensive team. But that league, it's everything that people have said it was when you get a chance to watch it.
Okay, let's go in the corner, and then we'll move a couple seats over.
Speaking of leagues, and it might be a little early to ask this, but obviously the Big East is off to a 2-0 start, and last year only 3 bids, all of them made the Sweet 16. Does it feel like, again, it's early, but does it feel like the league continues to step up at this time of year?
Yeah, I think our games are so physical, and I think the coaches are so excellent, the teams are so excellent. It's such a grind, our league, that it toughens you up. And you play under such incredible stress the whole year that when you get to the NCAA tournament, you're used to playing under tremendous pressure and physicality, and you're playing against excellent coaches, excellent players, again, in very stressful games. And I mean, in the end, your league is only as strong as I guess the number of teams that keep advancing. Whether you have teams that actually win a national championship or we have multiple teams get to the Final Four. Again, the quality and the strength of your league it gets based on how the teams perform, this month. So obviously the Big East is off to a great start.
Front row.
Along the conference lines, pictures. There's certainly been a lot of conversation this week about what's going on in the ACC and whether or not. Maybe some type of alliance between the ACC and the Big East would be a good idea. I was wondering what your thoughts were about that and what maybe the future should look like regarding those two conferences.
Yeah. I don't know if I have any space in my brain for conference realignment, but I mean, I've been saying that. I mean, I've talked to Coach K about that. He's texted me that. We've talked about that. I've mentioned it to people at the Big East. I've talked to Dave about it. I mean, that would just make, obviously, tons of sense to come up with some way to get, and obviously, I think the basketball programs in the ACC could really use that. I think, Syracuse has been hurt by by losing the Garden. Pitt's been hurt by losing the Garden. It's harder for them. BC, obviously, there's been major advantages from a football standpoint, but. And I hope I'm not speaking out of turn for those folks, but I mean, how cool would it be to find a way to get, Syracuse back in some type of ACC Big East consortium tournament? I don't know if that's a catchy name, but yeah.
All right, third row, then this will be our last question.
Dan, just being in the locker room, it seems like the guys are light and loose and confident going into this. I guess. First part is what have you learned over the last couple of years to keep the team light coming into this, and also for Liam in particular, what are you looking for from him?
I mean, listen, nothing could be as heavy for us as Iona in 23. I mean, just coming into Albany, with the New Mexico State game the year before. Again, COVID tournament. I have nothing to say about the COVID tournament. That was what it was for a lot of people. But that New Mexico State to that Iona game, that was heavy. I mean, you know, that there was a lot of pressure on that game, and then every game after that, we've just been. I don't want to say on automatic pilot, but you know, we've been pretty dominant in this tournament where everything felt automated and just total belief and confidence. But I think with this group right here, when I said like a sense of relief and a sense of excitement about playing in this tournament, you know, that we're in it, I think we're dangerous. You know, I think we're a dangerous team right now. We've got, you know, 3 guys on the perimeter that could go get us 20 plus. We've got 2 centers if we get them playing together well the same night, you know, and get some bench production. Like, we're a very dangerous team in this tournament. So I think everyone feels that, and everyone's excited.
All right, Coach, I'm afraid that's all the time we have. Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Good luck
guys.
tomorrow.